Welcome
when it
to
knocks the
Three
lights
Old
out.
Men and a Cat.
Yeah.
Quit hiding, Cat. Smile for the camera. Oh, there she is.
So she,
It had to,
there she
it
is.
had to find a
She's
comfy
just gonna
spot.
hang out there. Yep. Okay,
Yep.
that
Mama
works.
Kitty's just hanging out with us. We also call her Bobtail Bob.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, that works.
Mm-hmm.
So how's everybody doing? My tongue will
I'm
work.
extremely sore.
Blah, 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 blah. I didn't do my speaking exercises before we started.
Lola licks lollipops in Lillehammer.
Oh,
I'm okay. I'm glad it's Thursday because it means tomorrow's Friday, which is great for
Fiesta
me
Friday.
personally. Exactly. It's Fiesta Friday. And also, it means, barring any issues, I don't have to work for the next 2 days after that.
Is it a 4-job Fiesta Friday, though?
Ooh, that would be good if it was a 4-job Fiesta Friday. Frig, yeah. That's the best Fiesta Friday.
Not really a fan of those games. They're okay.
Well, 5 is good.
You know, it was all right. It's just I like some of the other ones better. So I know some people really love 5, but you know,
I enjoy 5. I think 5's good.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not my game.
I prefer
He did.
the
Just
ones
like you
on either
can't
side of it.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I
It's
prefer the ones on each side of it better to 5, but I think 5 is overlooked.
That's because of the ones on either side of it.
Sure.
Because
I mean, when
like,
you're
4 was great, and then 5 came out, and then 6, and they're like, 6 is better.
It's hard to stand out when you're good and everybody around you is great.
Yeah, it's weird because 3 and 5 are kind of similar with their job classes, you know, and then like 4 and 5, you don't really do that. So everybody's kind of predefined. I'm sorry, 4 and 6. So, but in 6, you do kind of get to customize the characters a little more. So, but not with
Right.
jobs. But
No, you don't get jobs. You just get to customize them with the Magicite, giving everybody powers. Which I gave everybody Ultima and Exxon and Life 3 because it's handy as shit.
Do they ever go back to the job system?
Well, kinda, sorta.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy 14.
Well, there is a 14 and 11. They have jobs. But also in the Final Fantasy 12 International version, or as we got it, the remaster, there are jobs.
Oh, I've got that. I haven't played through the remastered yet.
I've got it as well. I haven't played through it because it's 12, and we all know my issues with 12. But one day I will play that game. But yeah, it's got a job system. Kind of. It's basically like, you have like the sphere grid.
Yes.
And then you put your points into the sphere grid of that job. Basically, is what I understand it. It's called the Zodiac Edition or something like that, they call it.
Oh, and then there's Final Fantasy 10-2. I guess that was kind of like jobs.
With the dress spheres.
You change your outfits.
Yeah, you change your outfit.
You kind of change your style of fighting. So.
Oh my god. Final Fantasy 10-2. Jeez, oh Pete. The worst. No, not the worst. Not the worst.
Definitely not the worst.
But it was close to it.
We all know the worst Final Fantasy.
2. Yes.
Do you concur, Buck, or do you have a different opinion?
I mean, I don't really have a worst Final Fantasy.
There's two that come to my head instantly.
Just like I don't really have a worst Zelda, but Clan clearly hates two of them with a passion.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
can he say that they're bad games?
For me, they would be a bad game.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like for me, I don't really hate a Final Fantasy game.
But okay, Final Fantasy 2 is just is a saga game before there were saga games. Because if you want to play, if you like Final Fantasy 2, just go play Saga because that is the sequel to Final Fantasy 2. Any saga game, just play it. Whatever. Play that. And then you have 13, where the game takes 40 hours to start. And then the way it ups the difficulty is it just gives every boss a quadrillion hit points.
I do hate that about it.
Yeah.
Just
And
that
then you're
it
sitting
ups
there.
the hit points up. For
Yeah.
no
And then you're
reason.
sitting there and you have to magically come up with the best paradigm to use at any particular point in the boss fight. Why? Why? It's needlessly complicated. Why? Why did you do that? Why? You didn't have to. Nobody asked for that bullshit. But here you go, and you did it.
I don't care about the whole leveling in 2. That doesn't bother me. I don't mind to form a party and just have them beat each other to death.
Beat each other to death. Yeah.
Just to kind of speed level. But what I didn't like, it was like, go here, come back, go here, come back, go here, come back, go here.
Yeah, the
I'm
whole
like-
game is a hub town.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm stuck on a Star Network here. Just like it's hub and spokes. Just
This game was made by a networking engineer.
it
It's just a
was-
hub and spoke pattern.
and it's like, here's your new party member. We're gonna take it away in just a minute. So
Mhm. Yeah, don't get
attached.
yeah, don't get comfortable. They gone. Yeah. Yeah. That's I think universally Final Fantasy 2 is considered the worst Final Fantasy. Unless you like Saga.
Now, would you rather play Final Fantasy 2
Uh-huh.
or Mystic Quest?
Mystic Quest.
It's a toss up
I-
for me.
Yeah,
It is a
I'd
toss
rather
up for me.
I'd rather
Mystic
play Mystic
Quest?
Quest.
Is
You know what they call Mystic Quest in Japan?
It's too easy.
Yeah. It's on purpose easy.
It's way too easy. If it was
In
just
Ja-
a little harder, maybe. It would
In
be
Japan, they
more
call
fun
it
for me.
Final Fantasy America
Why did they do that?
because the American versions of the games are easier. Like Final Fantasy 4, which is our Final Fantasy 2, right? So if you remember playing it back in the day on the Super Nintendo, it was very straightforward, right? Cecil, just when he was a Dark Knight, all he could do was fight. Right?
Mhm.
All he could do. The spell list wasn't that big. I mean, you had powerful spells, but the spell list wasn't that big. It's very straightforward. Great game, but it was very straightforward. Final Fantasy IV in Japan, not that straightforward. Cecil had an ability called Dark that you could use. And what it would do when you use Dark is he would sacrifice hit points to hit the target harder. We didn't get that until the PS1 version of Final Fantasy IV. And the reason why is because it was dumbed down because they thought it would be too hard for Americans to understand a JRPG that was complicated. And in fact, there is an edition of Final Fantasy IV in Japan for the Super Famicom called the International Edition, which is the dumbed down American edition that we got. And I
That's
think what
racist.
it is, well, it is Japan famously xenophobic. They just are. But that is what they do. And I think it has to come back with the one, they think we're stupid. Two, Dragon Quest, when it came over on the NES as Dragon Warrior, did not sell very well, even though Nintendo put a big marketing push behind it because it sold like crazy in Japan. And I think after that failure, some people, some publishers in Japan were like, I don't think Americans are smart enough for RPGs, at least on console. And so they sold, but they didn't sell the best until Final Fantasy VII on PS1.
And that's when we reconverged. So I guess 7 was the same.
7 was the same across all markets.
Slightly different, right? The name of, we got Aerith and they got Aerith.
Yep. Yeah, in translations, for some reason they changed her name. I don't know why, but they did. But there was some translation changes, some localization stuff, but the game itself was the same difficulty and number for the first time across all markets. And also, fun fact, Final Fantasy VII is the first Final Fantasy game that was released in Europe.
That's the first time the Japanese thought that Europe was intelligent enough to play a game.
No, they just the thing about Europe and game publishing is it's a weird place because if you publish a game in Europe, you have to localize it 5 times because it has to be localized in English, French, Spanish, German, and Italian. So it costs a lot more money to publish a game in Europe than it does anywhere else.
It's true.
And RPGs are traditionally very text heavy. That's why we didn't get Second Densetsu 3 or Trials of Mana, the sequel to Secret of Mana, was because there was so much text that if you translated it into English, it wouldn't fit on the cartridge. It was too big of a file size. So that's why we didn't get it. It's easier to do it in Japanese because you can put it in kanji and it shrinks the text down a lot because you can express whole ideas and stuff with a character. In English, you can't. We know talk good.
We can express whole ideas with the facial expression over here, though.
We can't. I can express whole ideas with just one finger.
Yep.
That's right.
Everybody knows that, right? Universal language. It's like, oh, he told me to fuck off.
Better than,
and then
I bite my thumb at you. Shakespeare? Romeo and Juliet? No.
It's from that. It's that from the Leonardo DiCaprio version.
No,
I mean, it's from the actual version, but I think they might have used the same dialogue. I think they had guns.
They did. They did. To be fair, I've never seen the Leonardo DiCaprio Romeo and Juliet movie. Just to be fair,
I think he has.
That's
the only one he threw out. Like I think
that's the most famous one.
No, if you're Shakespeare's is the most famous one.
Listen, my favorite Shakespeare movie that got turned into a movie of all the time, the play that got turned into a movie of all time, is an old one. It's Hamlet with Mel Gibson as Hamlet. That's a very good Hamlet. Highly recommend it.
I watched that a long time ago. I can't really remember a lot of it.
Back in the day when he played Braveheart.
This was pre-Braveheart. This
Well,
is
no, I'm
like,
saying it was back during that time era of his acting career
yeah,
when he
this
was
was
that young.
yeah, this was like probably right after Mad Max.
because he wasn't that old when he did Braveheart. That's why I was like back in the early ages of Mel Gibson's
Yep.
career.
This was probably between Mad Max and Lethal Weapon. Or right after Lethal Weapon. Sounds like this podcast could use some more natural light. It's not, it's a Diet Coke.
I could tell because it didn't have the crisp pop of the can.
Listen, there's nothing crisp about a natural light.
I was wondering
If you're listen, this is a public service announcement from Nerdacopia Network. If you're watching this live on Twitch or later on YouTube and you're drinking natural light, please go get help. Please send us a tweet or something. Let us know so that we can help you. Cause holy shit, man. Whatever you're going through, it ain't that bad. You don't have to drink the natural light. Or you holding the Keystone. You don't have to do that, man.
You don't have to know Keith Stone.
You don't have to know Keith Stone. Don't go down that road.
I mean,
we're here to help.
So sometimes it's just, it's just genetically in their DNA, man.
Oh yeah, I know people,
Grandpa
man. They
did it, Dad did it. I got to do it. It's like, no,
they love
you don't.
it.
You can break it. You can
like
break
this is
habit.
this is the greatest stuff ever. And you're like, yeah, if you like drinking hot piss right from the tap, it's great. I'm just saying, you have options.
I enjoy beer. And
I
I'll
love
go
beer.
like when I was in other countries and I go to places I haven't been and they tell me they have like craft beers that the locals are making or whatever. I was like, yeah, I'll try one. Just see what they're up to.
Yep.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes, oh my god, I'm like, what did they do?
Yeah,
but you never know if it's worth your time if you don't try it.
That's true.
I've never looked at Natty Light, Natty Ice, Keystone, any of that stuff and went, I'm low enough in my life that I'm gonna give that a shot. Never been that low.
Nope. That's what I'm saying. If you're doing it, please go get help. Please. Anyway, guess what?
I can't see the text, but they're going through. Do you budge your thumb at me, sir? I bite my thumb at you, but I do bite my thumb, sir.
Hi. Diz made 2 important discoveries in Final Fantasy 14 this week.
That the cabbage people actually are friends, not food.
No, he still wants to murder them. I can't make him change. But he did discover Hildebrand.
Right. He was telling me about that.
And he did fight Gilgamesh.
Just green chickens.
Just not the right Gilgamesh. I'm upset by that. It needs to be the right Gilgamesh. They need to bring the 4-armed Gilgamesh in.
That's true. But he did see him. Did you get the green chicken minion?
I don't know. I didn't see it in my
I think
inventory.
that's the last fight with him.
Could be, yeah. Eventually, you fight him and you get this green chicken.
Did he jump off the tower and fly away, uh, holding the chicken's feet?
Mhm.
Yes.
Then that's not the fight you get the chicken
Yep.
from.
There he is. Except that's not really the Final Fantasy
That's the
14
forearm.
Gilgamesh.
That's the forearm Gilgamesh. And by
He got-
forearm, I mean the one you see. I'm talking about you only see 4 of his arms in what I'm referring to when he takes Odin's sword. He has 6, but you only see 4 of them. You see the 3 on one side and 1 arm on his other side out of the cloak when he takes Odin's sword after Sephiroth kills him in 8.
This kind of looks more like him in 14.
That's more.
In 14, he's a Chungus.
Except he's more rotund.
He is.
That's
he is
drawn
totally
more like
Chungus.
Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. That's in a mono drawing, looks like. But I think canonically, every time Gilgamesh appears, it's the same Gilgamesh. Always. It's the Gilgamesh from 5.
That doesn't make any sense on why he looks the way he does in 14.
Agreed. Agreed. I'll agree with you.
Because even
See?
that one does not look like the one in 14.
He a chunky boy.
Chungus.
He's a Chungus. Exactly. Him a big old Chungus. He just wants to love his chickens. Get that sword. Prove he's better at fighting than you.
He's not, though.
He is not.
Probably because he let himself go.
Could be too many cookies.
Too many
He
chickens.
does. Too many chickens. He does eventually bring in Ultros, though.
Well, yeah, but Ultros ain't really that big of a threat neither.
No, but it made me happy.
Ultros is only a threat in Final Fantasy VI if you don't level up enough before you get on that fucking raft. You'll
Yep.
get stuck in a loop where you can't beat him.
No, and you got to start all over again. Yep. That is the truth. That is the trap. Yep. You're on that raft with Bannon. Bannon. So what else y'all been doing?
Yeah, what else is going on in the world? We finished what's it called? The Clem Fandango show. That's what I've been
Host of London.
Host of London. We finished all 3 seasons of that. And no, it's very English. I can say that. I really like the Clem Fandango parts.
The Clem Fandango parts are the best parts of the show.
Yeah, and if it would have kept going, it would have got like funnier and funnier because in season 3 it was starting to get really funny for me. But we started watching What We Do in the Shadows with Matt Berry.
That is freaking hilarious.
And it is amazing. So
yes.
And I've heard some videos where they're talking about what's going to happen a little bit. And it's going to be hilarious, I think. So I was like, I'm going to turn this off because I was like, I didn't want spoilers. But I did hear some stuff.
Nice.
I just like how they pulled in in the first episode, they had some LARPers. And you thought that they were just like extras that were just thrown in the show. And at least one of them, they've made it where she's like almost going to be maybe not a main character, but at least a reoccurring character.
Yeah.
I like that about it.
Yep.
So. But it's pretty good.
It is funny.
Yep. If you don't know about it, it's vampires, but they're like in modern day, and
they're on like a reality show.
There's like a film crew that's like filming them for like reality TV, and they're pretty stupid. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What would happen when real people are turned into vampires?
Yep. So, very funny.
I mean, I thought that's what always happened. People get turned into vampires.
Well,
Well,
yeah, but you know what I mean. This is real people, not like Victorian aristocrats get turned into vampires, or
You mean
warlords get turned into
when
vampires.
nowadays people get turned into
This is like,
when the peasants get turned into
yeah, these are a
vampires?
bunch of peasants that got turned into vampires. Like, no, we live forever
New York City.
in New York City.
That's not where I'd choose to live if I was going to be a vampire and could live forever.
There'd be a lot of people, you know.
Same.
Yeah, but that
I would
have you been to
probably,
New York? Like I fucking would not want to be there.
I have not.
I would probably go to like Wyoming or something. It
Well,
looks
that
really
is-
pretty on TV.
That's an option.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know now though. Now you made that face. So I'm like, well, fine then. You know what? I'm going to create a series where it's about a character that becomes a vampire and they have to stay in the deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky.
Nice.
Three Body Problem. I have not watched that. I have added it to my watch list and watched like a little trailer of it. It looks really good.
What's that about?
Well, the three body problem, which I don't know if how it's related to the show, but it's actually this theory in like physics where if you have two bodies that orbit each other, right,
Mhm.
you can predict what's going to happen. But as soon as you add a third body, another
Then you can't
planet,
predict the outcome.
you can't predict it. And by all means, it shouldn't work. Like it should throw just everything out of balance and everything just falls apart. But and as you add more, of course, it gets more complicated. But I don't know how that relates to the show exactly. There seems to be some type of aliens, and they come to Earth, and there's like they're talking to the humans in this trailer about like some type of trial or test or something that they've been conducting on them or something. It seemed really out there, but yep. There's a lot of
Finally
lava too.
explain the butt probing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The aliens that came down were not what you are thinking of aliens. So, see if I can find that video. Three body problem. Now, let's see. Am I able to play the trailer without them muting out all the audio?
No, you will be
What?
copyrighted.
Yeah, immediately. Madam Web. I don't know about that.
I've got it on my list of things to watch, but it's not on there with a bullet.
I don't know about it. I don't know. It's just it doesn't look appealing to me. And I haven't heard good things, so
Yeah. I'll watch it, but it's not, like, oh my God, I want to watch it. I still haven't watched Morbius either.
oh,
Where Jared
Yeah.
Leto is the vampire
I
guy.
started watching that, but I don't know that I finished it.
He says it's Morbin time.
Does he actually say that?
He does in the movie. That is an actual line from the movie. Homeboy looks and goes, It's Morbin time.
Yeah.
Now, is that
He
in the
does.
comics?
It's Morbin time is not in the comics, no.
Okay.
I've watched the movie. It is definitely in there.
But Morpheus is a Spider-Man villain.
Morbius, right?
Morbius, sorry, Morbius. Yeah, Morbius is a Spider-Man villain.
Morpheus.
Morpheus is the dude from the Matrix.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
I've
about the
not
Matrix.
watched season 2
I
of Loki.
watched I have watched season 2 of Loki. I recommend both seasons of Loki, so definitely.
I'm mad at Marvel. They're not going to do a season 2 of the show I liked.
What shows that?
She-Hulk.
Yeah, that one was really like mixed reviews. Like either people loved it or they just hated it for some
Yeah.
reason.
And I was
thought
one
it
of
was
the people
I thought it was good.
that loved it. I loved it. I thought it was the greatest one they did. I liked it. I liked it better than Loki. Moby is greater than Morpheus is greater than Morbius. I think everything is greater than Morbius, the movie.
Yeah. Well, they can't do Hulk movies yet, right? Because he's kind of tied up with the rights there.
It's weird. That is, I think they got the rights back to Hulk.
Oh, did they finally?
But the guy that's over Marvel is like, yeah, we're not going to flat out told, the guy that plays the Hulk.
Yeah.
Mark
Ruffalo.
We're not going. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo. We're not going to do a standalone Hulk movie. He's like, oh, okay. See, that's the problem though with Marvel now. They're making all these movies and stuff, but it's about characters nobody gives two shits about. That's the problem.
Are there other characters that they should be focusing in on, or is it just
that's true? She-Hulk
twerking
did some stuff.
They used up all the good characters, and now they just don't have.
Well, that's just it. It's
anything
not
to
even that
do.
they used up all the good characters. Because here's the thing: Iron Man pre 2008, when Robert Downey Jr. came out as Iron Man in the movie, not a major character in Marvel. He was there, but he wasn't an A-list character with like
Sure.
the X-Men and Captain America and Spider-Man.
Well, I will say that Iron Man was in at least a video game that I played before all that.
Yes, he was. But it's like, okay, so Iron Man's gone, Captain America's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Hemsworth doesn't know if he's going to act anymore.
Doesn't know if he's just done with acting.
Yeah, he done a 23andMe test,
physical thing,
and found out that he has the gene that makes him more likely to have Alzheimer's. So he is like, I just want to maybe retire from acting now and enjoy life. And if I do get Alzheimer's, at least I've enjoyed the life I have. So I can understand that. That's fair. Robert Downey Jr. is like, hey, if you guys want me to come back as Iron Man, I'll come back. And they're like, well, we killed Iron Man. And then everybody in the world goes, yeah, but it's a comic book movie. He can come back.
Yeah.
They also killed off Widow.
Yeah, they killed off Widow. And then they pissed her off.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pay her like she was supposed to have been paid.
Well, I don't know what you guys thought about that movie. I thought it was not a great movie.
It was not a good movie.
It wasn't
a bad
the actor's
movie.
fault. Yeah, it wasn't.
No.
Because I like all the actors and actresses that were in the movie. It's just like the story wasn't very
all good actors. Well, it's kind of like the Marvels.
Yeah.
Everybody shit on the Marvels. And that was another show I liked, the Miss Marvel show. I enjoyed that show. I thought it was
good.
It wasn't the best show in the world, but it was good. It wasn't bad in any way. And the movie, The Marvels, wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my God, like the way I felt when I watched Iron Man or when I watched Avengers. But it was a good go, eat some popcorn, watch a movie.
I do have a take on that movie.
All right, go for it.
I watched it, right? And at
Uh-huh.
first, it's pretty interesting because they're intertwined together. Their powers are, and they keep teleporting around and stuff.
Yep.
And it was just interesting because they keep ending up in situations that they can't really take on.
Yep.
So that's interesting. And then they get to this one place, this planet, and everybody. I don't want to spoil anything. So if you haven't watched it, just cover your ears for a second. But I have to
Incoming
say,
spoiler.
this is where I turn the movie off. I did go back and watch it, and it ends up being
Mhm.
a good movie. But they go to this planet where everybody has to sing and dance. That's how they
Oh
communicate.
yeah, yeah.
And that's when I turn the show off because I'm
the
like,
planet where
this.
Captain Marvel is the queen of the
Yep.
planet.
I was like, why? Why is this necessary? This feels insulting. I don't know why, but it's insulting. But I was like,
Well,
why
the
is
thing
this?
was, remember, that's how they communicate is with song and
And
dance.
maybe that's in the comic books. I don't know,
I don't
but
know.
I went back and finished the movie. The movie ends up being, a good movie, but it's
Yeah.
that part. I think they could have cut that whole part out.
Mhm.
Wouldn't affected the movie at all. So
Yeah. Zach says he doesn't even want to watch the second Aquaman. Like, I do, but I also don't. Like, I like Jason Momoa. I think he's a good actor. I've been following Jason Momoa since Stargate Atlantis, so screw you guys. I've been around him for years. Also, if you haven't watched Stargate Atlantis, you need to. It's a very good show. And the first Aquaman was very good. It's funny. DC took two characters that they normally have no idea what to do with, and they made the two best DC movies that they've ever made, minus, not counting like Batman 89 or like Superman 77. Right. But out of the modern DC movies, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the two best, bar none. But there's so much baggage, it seems, tied in the second Aquaman.
well,
It's like, do you even want to watch it?
yeah.
But I do.
So I remember watching at least part of the first Aquaman movie. I don't know that I finished that movie. I have watched both Wonder Woman movies, and I wish I wouldn't have watched the second one.
Yeah, I pretend that Wonder Woman 84 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they were on when they made that movie, but they needed to stop using that. That needs to be a banned sub. Because how can you go from such a good movie as the original Wonder Woman to Wonder Woman 84? I don't understand
She fight.
How that happens.
It's like a cat lady, and then they're like a big gold suit. I'm like, guys, if just because it was in the comic book or whatever, you don't have to put it in the movie.
Or the fact, like, I can understand, the Cheetah Girl, because she's Wonder Woman's villain, and I knew she would be there. I like the lady that plays her in the movie. So I don't have a problem with her being there. I knew she was going to be there eventually at some point. But like, the part that really made me go, now what, is when Wonder Woman's World War I war hero dead boyfriend spirit possesses this other dude for like 30 minutes of the movie. I'm like, come on, son. You really come, because in the previews it shows that he's in there, and you're like, how does he appear in 1984? Is like he a clone? Is it a flashback?
A lot of cocaine.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, they made it 84 because everyone was on large amounts of cocaine while making this movie. Like, how can we bring him back? Ghost boyfriend. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then they did it. And Captain Kirk doesn't go, no, guys, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do it. And he's like, no, y'all writing checks? All right, let's get one.
I'll take one. Yep.
Yeah. But holy shit. What? What? Why couldn't they make him like a clone or a descendant somehow? Like he is his like great grandnephew or something.
I mean, why did he even have to be there? What was the point? I mean, they killed him off in the other movie.
Yeah,
That
he
was
makes a
for-
heroic
That
sacrifice.
was for a purpose and effect, and then you're just,
Yeah,
he's just coming back as Ghost Dad.
exactly. It's kind of like in Batman versus Superman, where it's like, what was her name? Martha. And Batman's like, "Roar! I'll protect Martha with my life." It's like, what? You go Super Saiyan because Superman's mom has the same name as yours?
Yep.
Like, what? All right.
That's a whole new level of PTSD right there.
It is. It's like somebody needs to like he needs some therapy or some shit. He's going crazy. But anyway, they did it. So I don't know what kind of bullshit's going to be in the second one, Aquaman. Apparently, Amber Heard's going to be in it for like 2 seconds.
I will say, all of the Spider-Verse movies are really good. So if you haven't watched those, you should check those out. All of them
Yes.
are really good. Yep.
Yes, those 2 Spider-Verse movies are amazing.
Yep. I wish they would have brought some of the characters from the first one into the second one. But I think for some reason or another they couldn't. But it's still, the second one's really good. And
The Spider-Man from the PlayStation Spider-Man game is in Into the Spider-Verse.
no,
That's
there's
how
so
deep
many
they
of
go. There's just so many Spider-Man. Yep. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you watch X-Men 97. If you were around and watched the original X-Men cartoon in the 90s on Fox, holy shit. This show is amazingly good. Like you think on it and you're thinking, oh well, this is nostalgic goggles, right? Like the X-Men cartoon was great. Everybody remembers the theme song and stuff like that. This is wow. Have you watched it, Buck?
Watch some of it.
That's me. I've not watched all of it. I've watched like the first I think 6 episodes. Because once I got started, I couldn't stop until I ran out of episodes.
I've only watched the first episode so far. But I'm already hooked. I just haven't had time to watch it anymore.
Yeah. And apparently, like towards the last episode,
they ruined some of the storyline. I got a little upset about it. Because I had the comics. I had the X-Men comics, and when watching this, they ruined the storyline. I'm a little pissed.
Yeah, they do make changes.
So I'm worried to watch the rest of it because I'm like, how much further are you going to butcher this?
I do know. I was watching the other day. There was a tweet from the guy that done the voice of Spider-Man from the Spider-Man animated series that was on at the same time, and he was like, people have been asking, are they going to make one of it? Like Spider-Man 98 or whatever. And he's like, I haven't got a call or anything. And then come to find out, apparently dude makes a cameo in a scene in the X-Men 97 show as Spider-Man. Also, I found this odd. They recast some of the voice actors. Some of them from the original show are there, but some of them are not. Like Cyclops' original voice actor passed away, so they had to get somebody new.
Yeah.
Which they got Noctis from Final Fantasy 15 to be Cyclops. Which is fine. He sounds a lot like Cyclops from the show. Like Storm's the same voice actress from back then. The Wolverine voice actor comes back. but like some of them are recast. But the weird part is the original voice actors are show up as different characters, so they're still there. But they play one-off characters. So I'm like, well, why did they get recast
Demoted?
then?
Why'd they get
Yeah.
demoted?
Did they
That's
get
what it
asked
really
to come
is.
back and they were like, no, I don't want to, or I'm doing something else or something, but I can play like a one-off character or what? Like one of them is like a janitor or something in one scene. And you're like, what?
One of them's a janitor in real life.
Yeah. Like
They snubbed him.
yeah, like the voice actor for Gambit is different,
Yeah.
which hurts my soul. Because I love Gambit's original voice. Like the dude that does Gambit now gets close, but you 100% know that it's a different person. Also, damn. And if you've watched it to the point that I'm talking about, you know what I mean when I say damn. Buck knows what I'm talking about. I can tell by him shaking his head. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Does it involve Gambit?
It does. Gambit plays a major, major part. Also, I will say the part where Gambit uses his powers to energize Wolverine's claws, that is cool as hell. I'm sorry. That is cool as hell.
I saw a video where they were talking about Gambit's powers, like his actual true powers once he realizes them in the comic books, and he's like a really like powerful mutant. In the show, that you wouldn't know that he charges cards and throws them and shit.
Yeah, he charges
Yeah.
cards. There is a scene though in the new show. Buck knows what I'm talking about. Where you're like, holy shit, Gambit.
I mean, that's what happens when you piss somebody off
Yeah.
and push them to their limit.
Like homeboy popped off. Like he charges a sentinel. He runs up a sentinel and charges it, and it's like deuces.
I mean, the main thing though is usually like, you know, with Wolverine, he's always in that angered, aggressive state. So you always see what he's always capable of.
Yeah.
You never really get to see Cyclops in that form either, even though if Cyclops went full power,
Oh, he would fuck somebody up.
he could shoot through buildings, not a building, but buildings before his laser reached its length. So he could decimate miles of shit just by spinning around one time, and he never lets go enough to be that pissed off. But Wolverine does it all the time, and everybody's like, well, it's just Wolverine.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's just Wolverine.
But if all the X-Men ever fully let their powers charge and go, the evil mutants wouldn't be breathing anymore.
And it is confirmed. They do confirm it in the show, at least in this series. Storm is an Omega level mutant, same as Professor X and Magneto.
Except for what happens.
Yeah, for what happens.
And that pisses me off because that didn't happen. That's part of what I'm pissed off about. That shouldn't have happened.
Well, she had to get new clothes somehow, right?
Yeah.
She can't just go to the store and get mutant clothes. Just saying.
Did you know the part about what Bishop did? Do you know who that is?
Which thing?
When Bishop leaves and takes the one with him, do you know who that really is?
Yeah. Yeah, because he shows back up.
But before he showed up, did you know who he was?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that don't realize he's in Deadpool.
That's true.
And if you don't know who that person is, you're like, who the fuck's that with Deadpool? Anyone that's read the comics knew the moment he showed up who the fuck that was. And I'm like, so does he get to meet his daddy? Probably
Maybe
not.
now.
because Deadpool's hanging out with the X-Men, right? During that time frame. But that particular person's not there. All you see is Colossus and what he call her? Deadpool gave her some weird ass name.
Oh yeah, it's like super mega teenage rage monster
whatever
thing. Yeah.
And those are the only two you see, and I'm like, really? You're not gonna have his daddy in here? Like, you should at least have him in here for
Well, it's
long
like
enough for them to just meet.
It's like he says, it's like apparently we can't afford all the X-Men.
Right. But anyone I've seen that movie with, I'm like, do you know who that is? They're like, well, yeah, they said his name. I'm like, not by his name. Do you know who the hell he belongs to? They're like, no.
Talk about Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah,
No,
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I'm not talking about that one though. I'm talking about Cable and Deadpool. If you know who he belonged to, but
if you know who he really is.
Cable has a son also that gets seen in the comics, but we don't really get to see him in the cartoon. So, as far as like, you're talking about Marvel movies, there's all kinds of things they could do with the X-Men. There are hundreds of comic books that they could just reach over and pick a group of comic books that go from one to whatever, in a collection and go, we can make a movie out of this stack right here.
Well, the problem with Marvel and the X-Men, and this is why they pushed the Inhumans so much, was for a while Marvel couldn't touch the X-Men because they were owned by Fox. Well, they were the rights to the movie X-Men were owned by Fox.
Right.
But now
I'm saying, like,
Disney
now
bought Fox,
everything's joined. Now they can do whatever the fuck
everybody exactly. Right now you could have a movie where Deadpool meets Wolverine. They go pick up Homer Simpson and Luke Skywalker, and they go fight the Emperor in the Death Star. And the Emperor turns out to be the old man that owns the nuclear power plant in Springfield.
I mean, you could have picked Indiana Jones instead of Skywalker and then picked the Emperor. That way you could have covered it all.
I'm just saying, it could happen.
But I mean, there's factions of mutants that have never been discussed or talked about.
Yeah, but of course they're only worried about what movies they can make that's going to make the most money.
Yep.
So right. We're going to see movies that focus around the main mutants.
And every time they've tried them after the first two, those movies have bombed horribly.
Well, it's because they keep on wanting to do the Dark Phoenix.
Well, they keep wanting to do that storyline, and they can't do it right for some reason.
I know. That's what I'm saying. 3 they fucked up, and then they did the new class, and then they went to let's try that again. Fuck, we screwed that up too.
I don't think they're planning out the trilogy there. I think that they started with the one movie every time, and they're like, "Oh, well, it made some money, so I guess we can make these other two." And they're
right.
Just like,
when they always want to do the Dark
together.
Phoenix, because the Phoenix Saga is a big important saga. It's one of the most popular sagas in all the X-Men books, but they can't make it in a movie.
Yeah,
apparently they just cannot do it. The cartoon did it and succeeded at it, but the reason is because it literally took like 18 episodes of the cartoon to tell the Phoenix Saga.
They Dragon Ball Z'd it.
Yeah, they did. They Dragon Ball Z it, but it needed to be. It's like if you want to do a Phoenix Saga with the X-Men, then you might as well say, okay, at some point you're signing a contract where you're going to come back and you're going to do these 3 movies that are the Phoenix Saga or something. That way we can
into a show.
Tell the story. Yeah, or turn it into a show.
Make the Phoenix Saga a show and then make movies around it.
But I did see where Disney said that from now on they're limiting Marvel. So they get 2 movies a year and 1 show.
Yeah.
That's all they get.
Yeah. They were pumping out too much content.
Yep, too much content. But I do think the Marvel movies would do better if they would just break down and bring back the characters that people care about. Not saying that some of the new characters aren't good, but people want to see, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man and Captain America and stuff in
Well,
another movie.
I don't know if there's enough money to get Captain America back.
He said he would come back if it was a good enough story. If there was a good story reason for the character to come back, he would come back and play it.
Well,
And
the
Robert Downey
reason he
Jr.
broke
said,
off, though. Oh yeah, Robert's been ready to
just like,
roll since they killed him.
anytime you want me to come back, just let me know and I'll come back.
But Chris made the comment about being pissed off about everything going on. So I don't know if the story is going to be enough for him
I don't know.
to play Captain America again.
Yeah, I mean, the big problem with them is they were just putting out content. They wouldn't caring about what the content was. It was just putting out content.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised there isn't a Squirrel Girl movie at this point.
they're still supposed to be in the works for making the new Blade.
Yeah, the new Blade is supposed to be.
Which
They're
is
supposed to make it.
I don't know the actor's name, but it's the guy that plays Cottonmouth in Luke Cage's TV show.
Yep. Well,
It's
here's
supposed
another
to be
weird
the new
thing
Blade.
too. Wesley Snipes said he signed a contract to appear as Blade in a Marvel thing. So the
Yeah,
Wesley
but
Snipes Blade is going to show up at some point as well.
well, I have a feeling they may buy him out of that contract and not use him. Because according to everything that was said, Wesley Snipes was the most difficult person to work with
Yeah.
in making those 3 films.
Yeah, they had to
Because
CGI his eyes in Blade
in the
3.
very first, well, no, it was in the first one.
Was in the first one?
It was in the very first one when he was laying there being drained by
Yeah.
Deacon, and he was got fed the blood and was supposed to wake up. He refused to open his eyes, and they had to CGI eyes over his eyelids because he was being difficult in the
Yep.
first movie, and it got worse the further along they went. And I'm like, well, fuck that. Get somebody in here that cares to play the part then.
You know what movie sequel I'm wondering where is that? Because it was already greenlit years ago. So where is it at? Where's Demolition Man 2?
I mean, who the hell is going to play the bad guy?
Well, I mean, it's the future, right? Surely can they clone Wesley Snipes'
They're not going to be
character?
able to bring him back. He got shattered. He
I'm
got
just
turned into
saying.
ice and shattered.
I'm just saying. And really, in that movie, was Wesley Snipes' character really the bad guy?
I mean, the other bad guys were killed by Wesley Snipes
That's
before
true.
they were killed by Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
So he killed all the corruption, and then he got killed for killing the corruption.
And he ate a rat burger.
I mean, there may not be any problem with eating a rat burger
Sure.
as long as it didn't have any disease before.
Listen, ate a rat burger, didn't know how to use 3 seashells.
And had sex in VR.
That's true. Well, I mean, everybody does that now.
Yeah, but that's way back in the day, Clan, before we even had VR.
That's
in our
nothing new. Yeah.
That's the movie that got everybody's brain meat going. We could do that. We could do that. And then now we do that.
I think the 3 of us are the only 3 people left on Earth that haven't had sex in VR.
I mean, I don't see a point in it. I have a person.
I'm just saying.
So not to deviate from VR sex, but speaking on movies, I did see
a movie about VR sex.
No, not exactly. I follow quite a few people on TikTok that talk about Tolkien stuff and Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit type
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And today I saw a video where they said that Warner Brothers has announced 2 new Tolkien movies based
Oh, I saw where they did
around
one. I
Lord of
didn't
the
know it was two.
Rings and The Hobbit.
One about the
Somewhere.
Rohirrim.
Well, I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I don't know how
Because
many
one's
details
supposed
are
to be
out there.
based on the Rohirrim.
But there's 2 movies, and they're supposed to be that come out in 2025.
The other one is The Hunt for Golem.
Yep.
So,
And
I
somebody
couldn't remember
says,
the actual name of that one, but yeah.
and somebody said it was a lost Aragorn.
It's supposed to be
Book.
Aragorn and Gandalf were supposed to be hunting for him. Gandalf got pulled away to Saruman, and Aragorn is supposed to be searching for him.
Yep.
Before he was captured by the Nazgul.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rohirrim are supposed to be, it's supposed to tell the story of why Helm's Deep is such a vital point for Rohan.
So, pretty excited about that.
They're also talking about season 2 of the
Ring
Lord
of
of the
Power.
Rings show.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched season 1.
I haven't finished the season.
I
one
thought
of
it was
so.
decent. Like it wasn't the greatest to like sit down and fully like it didn't catch me enough to binge watch every episode like Mandalorian did, but it was decent. It told a lot of story leading up to Sauron and what he was about, but and kind of the kingdoms that fell before all of this took place.
Yeah.
In the Lord of the Rings movies.
The Rings of Power is in the Second Age, right?
Yes.
It's no, it is
It's right before.
considered
It's
the
right
Second
before.
Age?
It's right before the fall of Numenor.
Yeah, I guess it is Second Age then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Only that when you said that, the only thing I think of is Numenor. New, a Numenor.
Not that.
A
Not
Numenor.
Definitely not that. That's not it.
Oh, because they're underwater.
Numenor, what happened? I've fallen and I can't get up.
But now the main kingdom of the humans on the coast are still alive and the kingdom's still standing. And that fell right before the third age of Middle Earth. So it's still during the second age right now. But it's going to fall soon if the timeline tracks the way it's supposed to. But it depends on how many seasons they want this to have.
Yeah, that's one of the only 2 things I knew about that show is that 3 things. 1, I heard that like it wasn't the best in the world. 2, that it was in the Second Age. And 3, there's a guy that everybody thinks is Gandalf, but he's not called Gandalf.
So
Randolph.
it's not it is not him. It's not even one of the 5 wizards.
Does he become the Balrog?
Like he's not one of the 5 that you know about from The Hobbit. He's someone else. They even tell his name. But I don't want to ruin it if y'all haven't watched it. But they they even tell his name.
Yeah.
So initially when you see him and find out what's going on, you might think it's him. But it explains kind of who and what he is there for. And
is he an angel like Gandalf is?
No. I wouldn't say that Gandalf's an angel either in that regard.
I mean, that's what they kind of are. They're like the angels.
Yeah, they're like
Equivalent
the
to
angels. Yeah.
That's what they.
I know, but they're not really angels.
And
They
the
have
Balrog
some.
is one.
The Balrog is a demon.
Well, they're on the same. They're the same thing.
I know,
It's just they
I
were
know,
turned into
but-
different things.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
but Gandalf has almost been around as long as Galadriel has.
Which is a long time.
I was gonna say, Clint's looking around like he's not sure who Galadriel is.
Blonde
He
hair
the
girl.
dude elf, right?
Galadriel's the female.
He's agents. Oh, Galadriel. I thought he's Agent
the
Smith.
female that's
That's
in
Elrond.
charge.
Ah, Elrond. Gotcha.
Elrod's younger than
Yeah.
Galadriel.
So Galadriel's the one when they go and see her, she like goes, she has that weird mode
Yeah,
where
she
she
does
goes into like a
weird
demon, where
demon
she's
all
like,
of a sudden, yeah. She's one of the ones that has the ring of power.
That's why she goes demon mode.
So does Elrond.
Elrod has it because it was given to him. He's not one of the original three.
Well, I don't know exactly, but
I don't know. I will go right now and tell you right now, I've never read the books.
I can't remember who the name of who he received it from, but the one that was Lord of Rivendell before Elrod had the ring, and he moved across the waters and gave the ring to Elrod.
So
And
King
then Elrod,
Rivendell.
Galadriel, and the one that's with Galadriel in the tree are the three that hold the rings.
Steve Rivendell.
no. There's Gandalf has a ring. The shipwright, what was his name? Something with a
Oh
V.
yeah, that's right.
He
That's
gives him
right.
the
He-
ring of
he-
the
yeah.
fire ring. And that's
right.
why-
Gandalf does have the third
Yeah.
one.
Oh shit, Gandalf is
elves.
Wheeler?
Keeper of the flame of something when he slams the staff down.
Oh shit,
flame of-
Gandalf
the
can
flame
call
of
Captain
Anoru.
Planet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. He is the
He's
keeper of
Wheeler.
the flame.
He's Wheeler from and from North America, Gandalf. Loot
Hold
and
on.
plunder, you shall not pass.
Smoking this hobbit weed over here.
Exactly.
Using his ring to blaze up.
Let our powers combine. Earth. Fire, you fools. Wind, water.
Let's see.
Mm.
That's great. I love that Gandalf is Wheeler.
But you never see him use that power.
I
like
know,
Wheeler
right?
does.
Why didn't they call Captain Planet to fight Sauron?
Because there's only 3 of them. They didn't have the other 2 rings.
Where's the other 2 rings at?
'Cause
Which
there's
ring
only
does
three-
Frodo
there was only 3 given to the elves,
I know.
7 to the dwarves, and 9 to man.
Exactly.
There was not a 5. There was not a 5 stack anywhere.
I'm just saying.
They never wanted Planet to show up.
Exactly. Who
Sauron
got the
thought
ring
ahead.
of heart? Well, he could have made the evil rings and called Captain Pollution.
I mean, that is true.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So the original ring was given to Elven High King Gil-galad
Yes, that's who it was.
of Lindon, who entrusted the ring to Elrond. He entrusted Vilya, which is the ring Elrond got, and Neria, which is the ring that Círdan got. Círdan was the shipwright who gave the ring to
Yeah.
Gandalf, and Galadriel just had the ring from the start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I knew Elrond received it from the original king, but
Yep.
I'd forgotten that Gandalf got the third, not the one that was with Galadriel and the 3.
Yep. Yeah, he's just kind of like the elf husband. Yes.
He's the stand there and look
Elf
pretty.
husband.
You
Stay
stand
at
there and
home,
look
elf
pretty. I
husband.
don't need you to do a damn thing for me.
Hey, Gladriel. What? Did you get more pecan sandies? Because I'm pretty sure I asked for pecan sandies.
Where's this series? Still the Rings of Power.
And all he gets thrown at him is lemnis bread.
Yeah.
Take this and shut up.
That's all I want. Some big flowy glowing elf. Just like, Where's my pecan sandies? Do you think they got pecan sandies in the Undying Lands?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Also, elves go to the Undying Lands because they're immortal. Now, question. Bilbo and Frodo went to the Undying Lands. They not immortal. Are they going to die in the Undying Lands?
They got gifted that permission because they were the bearer of the ring.
Do you
I
want to
know,
know?
but
The Undying Lands is not some magical land where nobody dies.
Right.
it's
the
just
elves-
a van down by the river.
The elves are immortal, so they
Uh-huh.
don't die. Or
Right,
they age
so
so,
they-
slowly they don't appear to die. at
So
least
it's
to
just
us.
their other town.
But it is like a magical land where there's like healing properties and stuff like that. So they allow the ring bearers to go across, and they actually allow Samwise to go across as well before he dies.
But they all
reunite with-
died
They
in
all
the
die.
Undying Land.
They do. They all pass
Hard.
away.
Harsh.
Sam got it at the end after he raised his family because of his courage.
Sam come. Oh, Mr. Frodo.
Merry
I'm
and
back.
Pippin got buried with Aragon.
Yep, I knew that.
I had 13 kids. All I was doing is fucking all the time.
If I wasn't banging a gavel as the mayor of Hobbiton, I was banging my wife, making more hobbits for Hobbiton.
That's how it went.
Oh, Samwise the Banger, they called him.
Yep, he was the gardener, always in the bushes.
Always plowing. Oh, Samwise the Plumber, they called him because he's always laying pipe.
I wasn't eavesdropping, I was trimming the verge.
Don't turn me into anything unnatural.
Oh, gosh.
That's my wife. I wasn't doing nothing. I was just trimming. Oh, Sam.
So yeah, they all die. And the elves can
Damn.
actually choose to give up their immortality.
That's right. Steven Tyler's daughter gave up her immortality so she
Liv
could be with
Tyler, yeah.
Aragorn
Mhm, mhm.
because she didn't want to miss a thing.
Yeah,
That's true.
I guess
Hey, she got
became
this.
a
She got that
half-elf? I don't
sword.
know.
She got that sword reforged because she decided to give up her.
So that's
That's-
weird. That's weird. In the movies, they make this big presentation of the sword, and it doesn't happen until the third movie.
right.
In the books, he gets the motherfucking sword in the first book. Well, as soon as they get
Yeah.
to Rivendell, everyone's like, "Oh, you're here. Let me go fucking throw this sword together. Give me a minute." And then
It's
he's
like,
"Here's
oh,
the
you're
sword."
finally following the path. Hold on.
Yep. Here you go.
Also,
Here.
in the
Take this
movie, at
with
the
you.
very beginning, where they're meeting him in the bar, they're like, "Oh, that's the Ranger Strider."
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the only time he's ever called that in the movie. Everything else is like,
That's
"Oh, that's
right.
Aragorn."
Well, he's called Strider by the hobbits until they reach Rivendell.
in the books, they go into that a little bit more. That's his that he goes by that name because he was part
That's
of
his
the
alias.
Dunedain Rangers and stuff like
Mm.
that. So, but in the movie,
Medulla
they
oblongata.
they felt like they needed to throw that in because this is the only opportunity they were going to get to like throw that little piece
So
of
they threw in that
knowledge in
one
there.
line, but they didn't bring in that other wizard or whatever, the other character that's supposed to be on the thing with them.
Who's
Begins with a B, right?
what on the
Bim
in?
Bimbley.
Oh, you're talking about Tom Bombadil?
Yeah,
Oh,
Bombadil.
but he's not a fucking wizard. He's
No, he's
God.
definitely not a wizard. He's not. Yeah, he's different.
He's like the god of the whole thing.
You
I
think
think
they'd
that's why
put him
they.
in there?
Yeah, a lot of people were upset because he wasn't, but you know,
Is
maybe
he in
they'll
the
get into that
extended
story.
cut?
Nope.
No,
He is
Damn,
not in a movie anywhere.
no, they didn't
harsh.
film any of that.
That sucks. They even stretched The Hobbit out to 3 movies and they didn't put him in it.
Yep, he actually saves the hobbits from being killed by some whites, and not it's WIGHT, not
Right.
WHIT.
Not the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia. Hey, you what, Frodo? I'm going to beat your ass if you bring me some more of them damn runny eggs. The other movie we want to see.
I mean, at least Clay didn't go the other way and go, "You got a pretty mouth, boy."
I would think Hobbiton is in West Virginia, though. So
Definitely. Definitely somewhere in Appalachia.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole uproar when they left him out. For sure. Because they were like, well, he wasn't in the theatrical version. Maybe they were pressed for time. And then they're like, here's the director cut extended version. And he wasn't there. And everybody lost their shit.
Yep.
They're like, why would you leave Tom out? It's like, well, we just decided we weren't going to add him. Okay.
Yeah, because it's weird because he actually holds the Ring of Power, and it doesn't affect him. He's just like, it's a little trinket to him. It's like nothing. So everybody's like, he is like the god of that world. So he has to be.
But why did he choose a name like Tom Bombadil?
I don't know. I think Tolkien had probably just made some other stories about this character, Tom Bombadil, and he wanted to put him into this, larger
Could
story that he was doing, probably.
have.
That's what I think happened there. Because I find myself doing that with D&D campaigns. Like, I'll create characters and I'll just be like, ooh, I'll just throw this guy in here because, I'm never going to get to play him as a character, so I'll just throw him here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be is there like a Harry Potter TV series or something?
Yes. Yes. A Harry Potter TV series coming to Max.
With,
Each season is supposed to be a book. So they should be able to add in more stuff.
Yeah. And I'm kind of for this. I mean, I enjoyed the original movies, but I didn't like the last one, especially the second part of the last. Didn't like.
Oh, the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan of that. It wasn't horrible. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
And of course, the acting in the first Harry Potter was a little rough with the kids.
Yeah.
They get a lot better.
They do. They do. I mean, they were awful young in that first movie.
Mm. All right. Well, it's past 12, so I guess we can call it there. I'm still not sure about Sunday if we're going to play or not. can't get a definitive answer. I may just have to just call it off, just out of caution's sake. Um, so we may not have D&D this weekend.
No.
So for it's Mother's Day, you should probably just spend the time, with your mother if you can, and we'll do D&D again later. So, but we did play retro this week.
We
do
did.
that.
We did do that.
And if you haven't watched it, you should go check it out because I almost rage out and start breaking things.
That's true. He does get upset. Legit upset. Probably the most upset I've seen him, at least in a long time, on a game.
It usually doesn't take me that many times to figure out the patterns and defeat the boss. But it had me tilted, so.
It did.
Monday, I'm gonna fucking beat it. I'm gonna beat that.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna beat whatever other dungeon there is, and then we're gonna be playing Wind Waker.
Yeah.
That's the gameplay. So.
I like it.
We got all that stuff going for Nerdicopia.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Double Buck, which she's going to be doing some streaming tomorrow.
That's right.
And let him tell you about that.
Yeah, I got some 7 Days to Die going on tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. And then I've got Monday is Nightingale. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got some Ark Survival Ascended, which we only got like 4 creatures left to tame that are new, exclusive to Scorched.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, of course, got to get all of the floor notes and take out the map. But so we still got a ways to go because I still got to go into some caves and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then next Saturday should be more Eat Our Realm of Dragons. So we'll see how all that plays out this coming week.
Yep, right. Tune in because my character's going to die.
Pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Y'all are in the middle of a fight and you are in a room with 2 and you are all alone.
I am.
Also, quick aside for those of you watching who like survival games, just wanted to mention that V Rising, which is kind of like Vampire Valheim, sort of, reached 1.0, so it's out officially now. In case anybody had played V Rising in early access or whatever, or was interested in it. So Game Actual is out now.
So you just like go around and suck people's blood?
Well, you have to build your castle. You go around and you do get villagers for blood. You can turn into creatures as you level up. And then the bosses in the world give you an ability when you kill them and also give you the ability to work with new materials or upgrades or something like that.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So you got to go out and suck people dry.
Can you make like a people farm?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Can you make a people farm?
Can you mind control people and have them be your servants?
I don't know.
Because I mean, that's what vampires are good at.
It's one of those games, I don't want to know too much about it because it does seem interesting in case I do play it eventually. Because the game is one of those where it's only like, once again, a $40 game. But it does seem interesting, and it beat Valheim to 1.0, so
I know a lot. Is Valheim ever going to get there?
I don't know. Eventually, I guess maybe they just released Ashlands.
I mean, that game beat 7 Days to Die to 1.0.
That is true. But hey, congratulations. 7 days goes to 1.0 in June. So
Right?
after like 13 years, it's happening.
I think it's more than 13. It's on Alpha 21 right now.
Maybe. I don't know. I just know it's been a long ass time.
It has been a
Still,
long road to get this fucker to full active.
still waiting on Dark and Light 1.0.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Come on, we need it.
That's right. People want it.
People will die without it.
That's what people will die.
That's
I
what they
mean,
told us in the
I
game.
feel like I
Mhm.
feel like if that was the case, they wouldn't have shit canned it.
I
We need-
can't learn. I can't learn about nature if they don't put it out.
Can't.
Because I have to learn about nature by observing it.
That's true. That's what it tells
what-
you. You got to.
That's what they tell me in the game.
Also, pork chop sandwiches.
Pork chop sandwich.
I mean, I
And the
learned that
Grim
from
Reaper.
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Fucking
Yep.
Grim
And the
Reaper.
Grim Reaper. That can kill the only enemy that I've ever seen that can kill town guards. Just don't give a fuck. And laughs about it.
It was just beating the shit out of our house.
Yes.
Don't know why.
Nope. Just randomly just started beating that door's ass.
And we decided to let it because I mean you can't fight it. So
Nope. Nope. Can't fight death.
That sounds like the Morella tops in my Scorched Earth playthrough. It just assaults my tent. I don't know why.
yeah, I'm just
Just
knows?
don't know. Oh, also before we leave, another quick thing. If you're watching this right now live at like 12:14 a.m. Eastern time on May 10th, just so you were on May 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, noon Buck time. The Analog Pocket goes back on sale on Analog's website, so you can pick up either the black or the white Analog Pocket, and the black dock goes on back in stock. So just so
Which
well
is why
you're
Clan's
aware.
excited because he needs that black dock.
Yeah. So just so you're aware. Definitely order you the big black dock.
Yep, we're gonna get out of here before that becomes anything else than what it was. Just so you know, we're Nerdagobia. We have a Discord. You can find it in the below section if you're watching later, or in the chat if you're watching now. We have YouTube, and if you're on YouTube, you're there. Just hit that subscribe button, and you can continue to watch us. If you hit that bell, you'll know when I upload videos like this one that you're watching right now, and other videos. We have like hours of content out there.
That's
We
true.
have
Hours of content. You can also major in business management or in accounting.
we have social media. I am told. I haven't seen it, but I've told it exists.
Clearly, no, he has not been looking at Twitter
I haven't been in Twitter in a while. I will say
because I tweet a lot.
he does do the tweets,
Or X for you people that are awkward.
and the Discord is very active. And we
Mhm.
have merchandise, of course. So if you want to nerdicopia.net, it is not .com. Don't believe what Clan Diesel says.
It's .com.
It's not .com. All right, so we'll get out of here, and if nothing else, we'll see you next Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, here on the
Or
Nerdicopia,
thereabouts.
or thereabouts. Hey, we some of us can't tell time.
That's
Or-
somewhere between 10:30 and 10:45.
Or read dialogue in games. So, it's just what it is. Yeah.
It's
Don't
him.
judge. Don't judge. See you guys next time. Later.
Bye.
Bye.